Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Capril. Today I have my Buc-ee's mug. I don't know if I've talked about Buc-ee's in the past. If you've never been to a Buc-ee's, you're missing out. Buc-ee's is the Disney World of gas stations. Think about it. If Disney had, I'm telling you, if Disney created a gas station, this is what they'd have. Because if Disney had a gas station, the bathrooms would be spotless, right? Guess what? At Buc-ee's, spotless. In fact, that's the number one appeal to them. They have their own mascot, whose name is Bucky the Beaver. And when you go in there, everything is labeled for them. So all their food and everything like that is packaged for them. They do sell stuff like Coke and Diet Coke, but most of what they sell there has their label on. It's quite an experience. It's hard to get in and out of there in under 30 minutes, at least the first time that you go. Now, the Buc-ee's has predominantly been in Texas. Now they're starting to move towards the Northeast. We're getting one north of Dayton, Ohio. So anyway, probably more than you expect me to talk about as far as gas stations go. But anyway, nonetheless, I'm going to start reviewing some concepts and some things that I've talked about in the past. And it's simply because they're important, and things do change a little bit each time. So the first thing I wanted you to know is I want to talk about this the required minimum distribution rule on IRAs. It's complex, and it gets more complex all the time. So the first thing I want you to be aware of is that now you don't have to take your required minimum distribution until you turn age 73. Could change. Right now, it's 73, okay? You probably know that already, but that's the thing to keep in mind. And that amount is based on the value of your account as of 12/31 of the prior year, the amount that you have to take. It's also based on your life expectancy, all right? Now, in all the years that I've been doing this, when I first started, it was 70 and a half was the age. Then they moved it to 72. Then they moved it to 73. Okay, so that's an important part. Another thing to be aware of is what happens when you inherit an IRA from somebody who is not your spouse. So let's say you inherit money from a parent or a sibling. When do I have to pull that money out? Well, the rules have been clarified a little bit. I still think we're going to get some changes on that, but in any event, rule number one is you got to pull all the money out of the account within 10 years of receiving it. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. What's not totally straightforward is, do you have to pull money out every year? Now, the most recent ruling by the IRS says yes, you do, that you got to take an amount out every year. And so there is a required minimum amount there, and we'll help you calculate it. Now, if you haven't done it in prior years, don't worry about it. The rule was unclear, and I still think Congress is going to change it. But there is a required minimum amount that has to be pulled out every year, and then at year 10, the balance has to come out. That was not the intent of Congress when they allowed for the 10-year rule, but that's exactly how the IRS is choosing to interpret the law. So unless Congress comes back and provides their own level of clarification, which I do think they'll do, by the way, we've got this level of uncertainty. So as we go into the fourth quarter, we will be examining that for you as well. Now, another issue when it comes to IRAs is the issue of Roth conversion. I get a lot of questions about that, and overall I'm a big fan of Roth conversion, but I'm a big fan of Roth conversion only because I'm confident that at some point in the future, taxes are going to go up. And so I would rather pay the tax at a lower rate, assuming that's the current rate, than in the future. The premise has always been, well, when you're working, you're going to be in a higher rate when you retire. And that's not necessarily true. If you're in your late 40s and early 50s, I strongly recommend you look to do Roth conversions in a smart way with a strategy, and we can help you do that because you don't have to do it all in one lump sum. That does it over a period of time. Pay the tax now versus pay the tax later. All future growth is tax-free. If you're already retired, there will be huge benefits to your heirs for you to convert it and pay the tax now. Those benefits may not come to you because remember, when you pay tax, you not only give up the tax dollars, you give up all future growth associated with those tax dollars. That has to be factored into the math if you're doing it for your benefit. But if you're doing it for the benefit of your heirs, yeah, I'd much rather inherit a Roth than another account, because it's just going to provide me with a lot more options, and biggest one being never have to pay any tax. So the thing I want to leave you with is this. If you have questions about these types of things, let me know. Other thing too I want to emphasize too is feel free to share these videos with any of your friends if you find that this is something that's helpful, and certainly if I can answer their questions, encourage them to reach out to me. All right, have a great month. See you soon.